Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Alright, real quick with some baseball news. Cameron Maybin, center fielder for the Detroit Tigers, has just announced his retirement after 15 seasons. And within those 15 seasons, he did not do anything extraordinary. And speaking of extraordinary, the other night we had a very high anticipated game as the New York Rangers took on the Edmonton Oilers in a very hard fought game. And with this, the New York Rangers are too good right now. For starters, they're on a 3-game win streak, beating Tampa back-to-back and then beating Edmonton. And they are up to something special right now. Now, you might think it's like, oh, they're on a great scoring pace. Oh, they're doing something spectacular with defense. Or maybe their goalies are getting win after win after win. No, what it is, it's their power play penalty killing ability. They are 44 for 47 over their last 17 games. I'm going to repeat that one more time. 44 for 47. That's 93%. This is better than video game numbers. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's just unreal. And because of how great their penalty killing is, this shows exactly why the New York Rangers are a top tier team. Now, as for Edmonton, what has happened to these guys? What has happened to the fire and to the grit that we know that Edmonton has with Draisaitl, McDavid, and Mikko Koskinen, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, all those guys, especially McDavid, Draisaitl, and Koskinen, because they have fallen into one of the biggest slumps you could possibly witness, let alone for the players, and yet it's the entire team. Because for the first 2 months, up until the first game of December, they were at the top. They were at the top of their division, and they were thriving and just winning left and right. As soon as December hit, all of it just went to hell, because ever since the beginning of December, they have only won 3 times. And that is really scary, and they're lucky that they started off really great for their first 20 games, because if they didn't, they could easily be looked at as one of the worst teams right now, because they do have 18 wins right now, but they do have 18 wins, but they are 4th in their division. It is the 2nd most in their division as well. But this constant losing, we're just not used to it. And I'm really hoping that they can get back to the way they were, because this team is way too talented. And speaking of talent, Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase are about to have an unbelievable career, because they're only at the beginning and they're already breaking records. Because when they faced the Chiefs and the Bengals won and clinched the division, beating the Kansas City Chiefs on a last-second field goal, winning 34-31. Both Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase in total broke 5 records. 5 records, and one of those records, Ja'Marr Chase has done something that no one else has ever done, but I'll get into a second. But what happened is Joe Burrow set the franchise record for most passing yards and most TDs, and he did it in 16 games, so that's even more respectable on that part, since we are now having 17 game seasons, and you can easily have an extra chance to stat pad of what your stats of whatever it looks like. And Joe Burrow's only in his 2nd year, and he's making the Bengals look this good with Ja'Marr Chase. This is really scary, because now Cincinnati is a great team, and they're a playoff team for the first time since they had Andy Dalton, but it's the first time that they are a great team since they had Carson Palmer. And I have no doubt that Joe Burrow can lead this team to a Super Bowl whenever it will happen. And whenever it does happen, it will be the first time since 1988. The other records that were broken Ja'Marr Chase is most receiving yards in a season by a rookie, most receiving yards in a game by a rookie, and he did something no legend has ever done. Not Jerry Rice, not Calvin Johnson, not Randy Moss, not T.O., not Larry Fitzgerald, not Steve Largent, not any of these all-time great receivers. What Ja'Marr Chase did as a rookie, he became the first wide receiver in NFL history to have two 200-yard games in the same season. Running backs have done it, but never wide receivers. And Ja'Marr Chase just became the first one to do it. Now he has 1,429 receiving yards, rookie record, beats his former teammate at LSU, Justin Jefferson, who had 1,400 as the record from last year, and he had 266 yards in a game and torched the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals are about to be that team, and we're about to have so many more great matchups. Now we're just going to see who's going to be the best matchup, because now we got a ton of young talent to watch, and the future is in great hands. And speaking of the future, let's go back into the past real quick, even though the future is happening right now. Big Ben Roethlisberger has most likely played his last game at Heinz Field, and he could have not ended it any better than what any Hall of Fame quarterback could dream of. His defense got him an interception with 10 seconds left on the clock, and he was able to kneel it down to finish the game. Could have asked for a better ending if that is his last game at Heinz Field, but who knows on how far he might be able to take this team to the playoffs, but very good chance that's the last time. And 100% Big Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer, top 10 in all passing categories, two-time Super Bowl champion, and with a Hall of Fame coach too, Mike Tomlin. And now it is sad to see that it is finally time for him to retire. I wish him luck at all that he does in his retirement. Now, in other news with football, let's go down to college football real quick, and we're going down to Oklahoma, where there's some transferring going on, and what's happening is now quarterback of the Oklahoma Sooners, Caleb Williams, is now going into the transfer portal, and now Oklahoma has lost both their QBs, Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler, to the transfer portal, going to other teams. Rattler went to South Carolina. Now where is Caleb Williams gonna go? But they're not in total scarcity. They do have former UCF quarterback Dylan Gabriel, who transferred originally to UCLA but decided to back out and commit to Oklahoma. And now he's also in great hands too, because now we got a brand new coach for Oklahoma, Brent Venables, who is now taking over, and this is going to be very hard and probably a lot of stress, and because there's a lot of pressure on Brent Venables, because he's coming in after two legendary Oklahoma head coaches. One, Bob Stoops, who is the best Oklahoma head coach in their organization, and then you got Lincoln Riley, who was just having quarterbacks win Heisman's left and right. Now what is Brent Venables going to be able to do with Oklahoma, and how long is he going to stay? Is it going to be long enough for when they go into the SEC in 2025? Who knows? We will definitely find out when it happens. All right, and speaking of college basketball, for Purdue the other night got upset. Number 3 got upset by 23 Wisconsin, but this wasn't any surprise, because for one, Johnny Davis for Wisconsin went off. 37 points, 14 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 steals, and blocks. The guy could not have had a better game, especially against a top-tier team. Now, as for Purdue, Zach Edey and Jaden Ivey, as per usual, were putting points on the board left and right and looking pretty while doing it too. But this is what the biggest flaw to Purdue's game was too many turnovers, and other than that, one of their players, Sebastian Stefanovic, just wasn't consistent with his shots. If he was consistent with his shots, but he just had a bad night, Purdue would have won that game, because Purdue is used to scoring 80 plus, around 80, 85 points a game. Not 69, not at all in the 60s. Purdue just had an off night and now suffered their second loss of the season, and it's probably going to go down a ranking or two because of this loss. But Purdue is still a very, very good team to go up against, and I would never go short on them or take advantage of them or think too little of them, because if you do that, you are going to pay for it severely. Now, also speaking of basketball, Kyrie Irving is finally making his debut tonight against the Indiana Pacers. With Kyrie Irving finally making his debut, is he actually going to stop making excuses, and is he actually going to take this stuff more serious and help KD and James Harden get to the winning ways? We're all expecting them to be with this big three and maybe get to the NBA Finals, because this team is too good not to get there. Will Kyrie Irving actually help out KD and get serious with this, or is he going to goof off even more and just constantly dink and dunk with these games going in and out for the rest of the season? We will find out as the season progresses. Alright, that's the end of the Calvin Thomas Show. Please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any sports media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Thomas Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever. And I'm out.